Hola a todos, entonces, ¿cómo estamos? Ayer vimos Alien, hecho por fans, ¿vale? Una cuenta de YouTube, ¿vale? Un canal que crea, ¿no? Diseña gráficamente de todo, visual, cómo sería el poder y de tal, de diferentes personajes, ¿no? Killers del Dead by Daylight, de licencia. Ayer vimos Alien, una pasada. Yo creo que incluso mejor de lo que va a salir en el definitivo, ¿no? De Behaviour. Y no hay más que ver el tráiler que hicieron con Nicolas Cage con los trailers que vamos a ver hoy. Hoy le toca a Slenderman, una licencia, una franquicia, un personaje que todo el mundo quiere, que se ve muy metido, yo creo, en el mundo de Dead by Daylight, ¿no? En la atmósfera, yo creo que encaja a la perfección. Si bien fue algo urbano, ¿no? De internet que salió, hubo una película después, así que habría que ver si hay derechos o no hay derechos de este personaje. Así que vamos a ver hoy cómo sería Slenderman en Dead by Daylight. Dejadme en los comentarios si vosotros tendréis otro concepto, si os gusta, si no os gusta, cómo lo veríais, etcétera. ¿Y cuál creéis que puede ser el siguiente? Vamos allá. Empezamos por un tráiler, un teaser, perdón, ¿vale? Que ponen un vídeo cortito y luego vemos ya un vídeo un poquito más extenso explicando todo el poder y demás. Ya veréis, vais a flipar.
Good and beautiful morning, everyone.
Está sonando la radio. Y hablando que desde la oficina del sheriff han denunciado pues una desaparición, ¿no? La desaparición de Henry. Y ahora vemos cómo van susurrando, ¿no? Pues gente que se ha desaparecido y unas fechas.
We are still investigating the case, but have no new information to present at this time. We ask the public to...
Lauren Knudsen, 26, March 26, 2013. Henry Raymond, 28, June 10, 2009. Everything is fine.
From entering the park, and that we're aware of more rumors about this boogeyman character. Speculation and superstition in a missing persons case will not be tolerated, nor will the disrespect to other missing individuals and their families.
Kate Mills, 24, June 26, 2012. Mark Bell, 42, June 20th, 2013. I worry about nothing.
Mirad los escenarios, cómo están decurados. ¡Uf! Cómo están decurados los escenarios. El sonido, la atmósfera. Eso sería el teaser. Y ahora vamos a ver el personaje. Este es bastante extenso comparado con el de Alien, que duró 3 minutitos. Este dura 9 por ahí. Slender.
To Dead by Daylight. Let me share with you a story like many others have before at this very campfire. Sharing stories of home brings out the belief of urban legends, stories, and the darker secrets of communities. With those myths, something came forth, a shared fear of something awful. Your new map is Oakside Park.
El nuevo mapa vendría.
Its connections to disappearances and its haunting.
Bosque, es que le pega el DVD.
Since abandoned, it's nothing more than a memory of a nightmare shared by countless communities and connected tragedies. The new killer is the
Slenderman. Oh my god.
Brought forth by survivors, their shared tall tales and legends had a connection, one strong enough to manifest itself naturally by growing in the shadow of the entity.
Mira las hojas, será una nueva mecánica.
They didn't believe it, and thought the story was safe enough to share here, of all places. After all, myths aren't real. A figure with arms long and outstretching, with tendrils extending from its back, and a pale face devoid of features had formed in the fog itself, an enigma to both survivors and the entity, the frightening presence. The Slenderman's power is
paranoia atroz. Es el poder, gente.
A being forged from the collective fears and stories of the past. It preys and warps their perception to uncomfortable degrees, leaving them to abandon familiar comforts, while unaware just how close they were to the figure
corre.
the tree line.
Va caminando,
Slenderman distorts the expectation of survivors by its very presence. The victim
No,
generator from the
no
trial
motores, en
appears.
partida sería.
In their
Sin
place,
motores.
supernaturally bound pages will appear in the
Páginas de
trial throughout the
cuaderno.
locale. It is up to the survivors
Y hay que
to
reclamarlas,
find
hay que
and claim
recogerlas.
those pages before the Slenderman does. For each page claimed by anyone, killer or survivor, he grows in power. The more pages collected, the more survivors are exposed
El
to
killer
the
también puede
truth
recogerlas,
of what they have brought into this reality.
Boom.
Up to 3 pages can appear in the trial at a time, and any time a page is
Packs de tres en
claimed by
tres.
either the Slenderman or survivors, a new page will appear elsewhere.
Hombre, pues siendo 4
after a
supervivientes,
short
cuidado,
period of time. Pages can be
Pues el mapa es
claimed
muy
instantly
grande.
by the
Los mapas
Slenderman,
deberían de ser más
but
grandes, yo creo.
survivors take significantly longer to claim a page,
Están muy
forcing
bien
them to be
escondidas.
wary as they attempt to take the object before their foe would contest them for it. As the trial goes on, the Slenderman's influence spreads like a sickness.
Mientras más cojas,
Once
más poderoso
eight
es.
pages
Esto sea un
become
rush
claimed
brutal.
by survivors, the exit gates become powered. But the Slenderman is at his strongest once 8 pages are collected by himself or by survivors. Pages claimed by
Claro, son
the
5
Slenderman
personas recogiendo
do not
papeles, ¿no?
count towards the survivor's progression, but will still advance his capabilities.
Ah, bueno,
At
lo
3
en cuenta.
pages collected, survivors within a short distance of a page suffer from the unnerved status effect. Unnerved survivors are unable to see beyond a short distance of themselves.
Quita
Their
visión,
vision
¿vale?
shrouded
Una
and
draga,
their
¿no?
own heartbeats pounding in their ears, obscuring the senses while fear settles into their mind. At 5 pages, whenever a survivor becomes unnerved, they are highlighted by killer instinct for a few seconds, revealing their position and allowing the Slenderman
Boom.
to seek out his victim with ease. Finally, at 8 pages, every survivor becomes unnerved permanently, letting paranoia set in and the feeling of being watched from afar.
Vale, todos pensarán que son perseguidos, tienen
This is
descon...
not the end, however, for unnerved survivors are prey to the manipulation of the
Están
Slenderman.
desconcertados.
By
Y
pressing
le
and
podrían
holding the power
buscarlos.
button, all unnerved survivors are highlighted with killer instinct
Ufa.
for several seconds. By looking in the direction of a survivor still revealed this way, the Slenderman can activate Arrival. Activating Arrival causes Slenderman to teleport to the closest edge of the targeted survivor's unnerved vision, just appearing within sight to begin spreading your terror. Successfully teleporting with Arrival will deplete the power gauge completely and has a long
A proteger
period of
tótems, ¿no?
time
Estaría
before
bien.
it is usable
Y
again.
puertas de salida. Pa'
The
boom.
Slenderman comes with 3 new
Ahora las perks, gente.
Diversify your selection of prey with lasting impression.
Y mira qué presentación, esto mola.
After hitting 4 unique survivors with a basic attack, this perk reveals the auras of all survivors in the trial for a short time.
Para que no os lugue,
After the auras
túneles,
are
mira.
revealed, this perk resets, allowing additional uses to spread fear through one or many communities. Tarnish their sense of security and safety with invasive silence. Whenever a totem is cleansed or blessed by a survivor, that survivor suffers
Meh.
from the deafened status effect for a period of time, inviting in darker
Sin más
forces
esto,
to pursue them. If that totem was a hex, the survivor becomes the obsession and shares the same burden of silence with all other survivors, pulling everyone into a state of anxiety. Your legend will
Meh.
spread like a great fire and fester within every word spoken
Meh,
by the victims
gente.
through hex.
Lo veo un poquito me. Vamos a ver este otro. Maleficio.
By spilling the blood of a survivor, it inhabits the nearest dull totem with a hex. While this hex stands, any survivor that attempts to interact with it will be cursed by it for a period of time, suffering a penalty to repair, healing, and cleansing speeds. During this time, the totem is blocked by the entity, and when the duration ends, the totem is unblocked, returning to its dull state. Every myth has some truth to it, no matter how quiet of a whisper it starts as. Be careful what stories you tell, or it may return to you in a terrifying form. Avert your eyes or succumb to terror with the Slender Chapter concept for Dead by Daylight.
Vale. ¿Cómo lo veis? ¿Os ha gustado? Hostia, aquí hay mucho más. Ah, bueno, este es el menú. Está bastante chulo. A mí es que Slenderman me apasiona. Me mola una barbaridad verlo ahí. Tiene un aura, una atmósfera que es impresionante. A mí me encanta. Miradlo. No me digáis que no pega. Vamos, yo para mí sería prácticamente instant main, Yo creo que Slenderman. Es que tengo tanto hype por Slenderman casi como por Jason. Para mí, Jason y Slenderman son prácticamente top. Mira qué presencia, tío. Luego, claro, el personaje va a ser una mierda y no lo quiero jugar, ¿no? Pero mira qué skins hace, ¿sabes? Que parecen asesinos de verdad. No sé. A mí me ha gustado un montón. Si lo veis guay, si lo veis bien, dejadme en los comentarios, ¿no? Vuestra opinión. Si queréis que siga viendo estos conceptos, ¿no? De arte, de killers para DVD. Me apasiona. Podéis seguir la cuenta también donde los hacen. Y nada, nos vemos en los mundos de la niebla. Y recordad, viendo a ver Cienfuegos. Si ustedes los tíos son, yo estoy online. Nos vemos.